Ladies and gentlemen, Cowboys Nation, football fans across the country, stop everything you're doing because we have absolutely seismic news rocking the NFL world right now. And yes, this is real. After months of speculation, rumors, debates, mock drafts, expert takes, anonymous sources, and tons of what ifs, it has finally happened. Shedeur Sanders, the rising star quarterback with a name already written in college football history and a legacy that stretches from his father's legendary career to his own journey of grit, poise, and sheer talent, is now officially a member of the Dallas Cowboys. That's right, folks. The most iconic franchise in all of professional football just pulled the trigger on a move that will be talked about for decades to come. The Dallas Cowboys have signed Shedeur Sanders in what insiders are already calling a blockbuster deal, a generational hiring, and quite possibly the most bombastic quarterback acquisition since the likes of Dak Prescott first burst onto the scene. And yes, we're saying this could even outshine that. Shedeur's entry into Dallas marks a turning point in the franchise's pursuit of championship relevance and sets the stage for what could be a new golden era of Cowboys football. Now, let's unpack this whole thing because there is so much to discuss, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around for every second of this. First off, how did this deal even come together? From what we're hearing through multiple reliable sources and insiders close to the team, talks between Sanders' camp and Dallas have been ongoing in secret for several weeks, completely under the radar, and apparently the Cowboys organization has been keeping their cards close to their chest, making sure no leaks would sabotage the momentum or draw too much attention before pen hit paper. But once that ink dried, boom, the Cowboys went public, and the internet has not stopped melting since. Social media is absolutely ablaze with reactions from fans, players, coaches, former NFL greats, sports media outlets, and influencers. And we've seen everything from celebration videos, jersey mock-ups, memes, emotional tweets from Colorado and Jackson State fans, and bold proclamations from Dallas faithful calling this the start of a dynasty run. But beyond the hype, what does this move really mean for the Cowboys? Let's start with the basics. Shedeur Sanders brings youth, raw talent, mobility, intelligence, leadership, and perhaps most importantly, star power. He's not just another player trying to make a name for himself. He is the name. Ever since his days at Jackson State and his high-profile move to Colorado under the watchful eye of his father, Dion Primetime Sanders, Shedeur has proven that he's not just riding legacy coattails, he's forging his own lane. With elite college stats, calmness in the pocket, a surprisingly strong arm, a sharp football IQ, and the maturity to handle both pressure and expectations, Shedeur is entering the NFL with the kind of confidence and spotlight-ready demeanor that Cowboys Nation thrives on. His college highlights are already iconic. Last-second touchdown drives, broken tackles turned into 40-yard completions, and leadership that rallied teams from double-digit deficits. If there's one thing this young man has shown, it's that he doesn't back down, doesn't fold, and thrives when the lights are brightest. And where else do the lights shine brighter than in Dallas? This move signals something monumental from the Cowboys front office. It tells us they are done playing it safe. This is not a wait-and-see maneuver. This is not a depth chart addition. This is a calculated, high-stakes, go-for-it-all commitment that says, we want to win now, and we're betting on the future. For fans frustrated by years of playoff heartbreak, untimely injuries, inconsistency under center, and a sense of missed opportunity, Shedeur Sanders might just be the fresh energy injection this team needs. Now, many of you might be asking, what about the current quarterback situation? That's a fair question, and there's no denying that anytime a new high-profile quarterback enters the scene, there's going to be speculation, pressure, and possibly even some tension in the quarterback room. But that's the nature of competitive sports, especially at the NFL level. Quarterback controversies are nothing new in Dallas. We've seen it with Romo and Dak. We've seen it before that with Quincy Carter and Bledsoe. And now we're about to see a new chapter. And honestly, competition, brings out the best in everyone. If Shedeur comes in, learns the playbook fast, establishes chemistry with his offensive weapons, and proves he can handle the pressure, the question won't be if he starts, it'll be when. Speaking of chemistry, let's talk about what Shedeur will be walking into in terms of supporting cast. Dallas is not short on firepower. With guys like CeeDee Lamb, already one of the most explosive wideouts in the league, Brandon Cooks is a deep threat, a strong tight end core, and a running back room that still includes proven veterans and exciting young talent, the table is already set. Add in an offensive line that, while it has had its struggles, is still anchored by veteran leadership and coaching that understands how to build around a mobile quarterback. And you've got a setup where a young quarterback can actually succeed instead of being thrown to the wolves. And let's not forget the Dallas defense, led by Micah Parsons, one of the most dominant defensive players in the NFL today. If this defense continues to perform at an elite level, Shedeur will be stepping into a team that doesn't require him to win every game by himself, but rather manage the game, make big plays when needed, and grow into the role with support. That's a recipe for long-term success. Financially, this deal is likely a huge investment. We don't know all the details yet, but speculation is that the contract includes substantial guaranteed money, a multi-year structure, performance bonuses, and likely media-related incentives as well. It's a risk, but one that Jerry Jones is clearly willing to take. The Cowboys brand is built on stars, on spectacle, on swagger, and Shedeur checks every box. From a marketing standpoint alone, this move is genius. You can already see the merchandise flying off shelves. Number 2, Sanders jerseys, posters, bobbleheads, magazine covers. It's a media dream. But of course, fans don't just want flash, they want rings. And the big question is, can Shedeur be the guy to finally bring the Lombardi Trophy back to Dallas? It's been decades since the Cowboys last hoisted that trophy, and every season that ends without one feels like another year of wasted potential. But maybe, just maybe, this is the move that changes everything. It feels different this time, doesn't it? There's a buzz, a vibe, and electricity around this announcement that feels bigger than a typical draft pick or trade. It feels like a movement. And let's not ignore the emotional impact of this signing. Deion Sanders, Cowboys legend and Hall of Fame cornerback, has always had a strong connection with this franchise. Now, to see his son step into that same uniform, to possibly carve his own chapter in the Cowboys' storied history, it's the kind of generational, full circle moment that sports fans live for. You can already imagine the crowd at AT&T Stadium standing and cheering as Shedeur runs onto the field. Prime time in the owner's box or sidelines, maybe even suited up in Cowboys colors again in spirit, watching with pride as his son takes the reins. It's cinematic, it's poetic, and if you're a Cowboys fan, it's absolutely exhilarating. So what happens next? We wait for the official press conference, which will surely be a media spectacle. Shedeur will sit down with coaches, front office, and Jerry Jones himself, and we'll hear directly from the man of the hour what this means to him, what his vision is, and how soon he thinks he can contribute. Then comes minicamp, preseason, and eventually week 1. That first snap he takes in Cowboys blue is going to be one of the most watched moments in recent NFL history. Every throw, every scramble, every decision under the microscope. But if we've learned anything about Shedeur Sanders so far, it's that he doesn't shrink under pressure. He shines. So buckle up, Cowboys Nation, because we're in for a wild ride. Whether this move turns into a championship story or a dramatic roller coaster, one thing is certain. It's going to be entertaining and it's going to change the NFL landscape. So hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments, do you think Shedeur Sanders is the future of the Cowboys? Is this the move that brings Dallas back to glory? Or is the pressure going to be too much? Let your voices be heard and stay locked in. because we'll be covering every moment of this wild new journey. This has been the biggest news drop of the year, and it's only just beginning. Welcome to Dallas, Shedeur.